It's small, it's simple, and it's probably sitting in your cabinet right now. Vaseline, that smooth jelly we use for dry skin, actually starts as a thick, black crude oil. The same stuff that fuels cars. Shocking? Just wait till you see how it's made. To understand how Vaseline came to be, we must start at the source: crude oil. Thick, dark, and straight from deep underground, crude oil is made up of different layers, each with its own use. Some parts are turned into gasoline, others into jet fuel. But the heavier, waxy leftovers? That's where Vaseline's story begins. Workers in Pennsylvania's oil fields discovered something odd back in 1859. On their drilling equipment, a sticky, jelly-like substance continued to accumulate. They called it rod wax. At first, it was just a messy problem, but when workers started using it for cuts and burns, and then observed that it helped them heal faster, it caught the eye of young chemist Robert Cheeseborough. Curious and determined, Cheeseborough took his unwanted byproduct and began refining it. What he ended up with was smooth, clear, and surprisingly useful. He called it Vaseline. And just like that, a simple discovery turned into a household staple. Cheeseborough didn't just refine the jelly, he gave it a name. He combined the German word Wasser, meaning water, and the Greek word elegion, meaning oil. The result? Vaseline. It wasn't just the name that stuck. Cheeseborough believed in his product so much that he even burned himself just to show how well it healed. Soon, people were using it for everything: cuts, scrapes, dry skin, even sunburns. It didn't take long for Vaseline to find its way into homes, hospitals, and handbags. Soldiers carried it into battle. Beauty queens used it to shine their smiles and tame their brows. What started as rod wax became a miracle jar in medicine cabinets around the world. Turning crude oil into something safe enough to use on your skin sounds almost impossible, but it's all about chemistry, heat, and intense purification. It starts with a technique known as fractional distillation. In enormous distillation towers, crude oil is slowly heated to temperatures of about 350 to 400 degrees Celsius. While it boils, the vapor rises through the tower and separated components form, as it vaporizes more easily than other components. Light products such as gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel vaporize first and rise to the top of the tower where they're collected. But at the bottom of the tower, where the temperatures are still scorching and the pressure is high, the heavy, waxy residues settle. These dense leftovers, the parts too thick to become fuel, are exactly what become the raw base for petroleum jelly. Now, this raw material is still far from skin safe. It has impurities, smells, and possibly toxins. This brings us to the next phase: vacuum distillation. We will reduce the pressure inside the equipment, enabling us to warm the jelly slightly to remove those compounds, but at a lower temperature to hold the jelly's structure intact. While we can remove the offending compounds, we don't want to break the molecules that are responsible for Vaseline's notorious gel-like texture and stability. After distillation, the jelly undergoes filtration using fine filtration materials, bleaching clay, and activated carbon. These work like sponges to absorb any remaining color, odors, and microscopic contaminants. This step also helps turn the jelly from dark and murky to a clear or milky white tone. But the most important step of all, removing PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These can be found in crude oil naturally and can be harmful in large quantities. Manufacturers ensure that, in accordance with health and safety laws, PAH levels have been lowered to trace levels or eliminated entirely during this phase. What is left after all this is something very different from its beginning: a pure, odorless, smooth petroleum jelly white substance. It's gone through heat, pressure, purification, and chemical testing to make sure it's clean, safe, and stable. This is the foundation of every jar of Vaseline, a product born from one of the world's dirtiest resources, refined into one of its most trusted skin protectants. After the petroleum jelly has been fully purified, it heads to the factory floor where it becomes a lot more like the Vaseline we know it to be. Right now, the jelly is still warm and semi-liquid with viscous, syrupy consistency that allows it to pour and mix easily. Processors usually hold jelly at about 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, warm enough to keep the jelly liquid, but not warm enough to disrupt the jelly structure. For classic Vaseline, there are no other additives, and it remains unchanged and in its pure form. For other versions of Vaseline jelly, this is the time where fragrances, vitamins, or skin-softening additives could be mixed in to develop varying scents or formulas for cosmetic products. After the final blend is produced, the jelly is pumped into the packaging line. But it is not simply poured into containers. The entire processing area is sterile, climate-controlled with ambient temperature, and stainless steel in order to avoid any possibility of contamination during the operation. The warm jelly is poured into sterilized tubs, tubes, or jars in a liquid rather than soft state that allows the jelly to settle into place. As it cools, it slowly turns into a familiar, semi-solid gel, smooth, glossy, and firm enough to hold its shape. Next comes the packaging. Each tub is sealed, labeled, boxed, and then loaded onto trucks for delivery to pharmacies, grocery stores, hospitals, and homes all over the world. From hot vats in the factory to cool shelves in your bathroom, every jar of Vaseline is carefully handled, extremely sanitary, and went through a process that was perfected over the course of a century. So what actually makes Vaseline effective? The answer is in the way it works, not by adding moisture, but by locking it in. Vaseline is an occlusive, which means it seals in the skin. Once it is applied, it acts like a seal over your skin that traps the moisture in your skin and does not let any escape. It is great, especially in dry and cracked spots, because it soothes the surface and helps your skin heal from the inside out, maintaining moisture for a longer time. The sealing barrier can also block things that can negatively affect your skin: dirt, bacteria, and even harsh weather. That's why you'll see people put it on minor cuts, burns, and scrapes. It is providing a protective layer while the body heals itself. And despite being oil-based, Vaseline is non-comedogenic, which means it doesn't clog pores for most people. That makes it safe for everyday use, even on sensitive or acne-prone skin. Over the years, people have found all kinds of clever uses for it. From soothing tattoos and preventing chafing in marathons, to adding a natural glow in makeup routines. It's one product with 100 solutions, and it works because it's simple, safe, and incredibly effective. Vaseline has been around for over 150 years, and it's still going strong. That kind of staying power doesn't come from flashy marketing or trendy ingredients. It comes from something much simpler. It works. It's the kind of product that crosses generations, from your grandmother's medicine cabinet to your own gym bag. Its strength lies in its versatility, purity, and the fact that it hasn't needed to change much since the day it was invented. What started as a sticky byproduct on an oil rig turned into one of the gentlest, most trusted products in homes across the world. From rugged beginnings to soft skin, Vaseline proves that sometimes the most unglamorous origins lead to the most lasting impact. If you found this transformation fascinating, subscribe for more deep dives into everyday items with not-so-everyday stories.